moved the company here to Atlanta 2 months ago because this is the perfect place to build a company like ours that sits at the intersection of real estate, technology, and finance. Groundfloor is a lending club for real estate. We source, fund, and service commercial loans for residential real estate assets. And here in Atlanta, during our pilot, we funded 9 loans and counting. In fact, there are 2 waiting for you to fund them right now on our website. Nick Bargava and I founded the company 2 years ago with a common vision for bringing an internet approach, internet technology, and internet values to finance. Nick is a regulatory hacker, an early pioneer in applying existing securities law to crowd finance, who helped author important parts of the 2012 Jobs Act. Nick is our secret weapon and a big reason that we have such a competitive advantage in our business. This team has succeeded before. Ben Armstrong and Chris Schmidt joined me from Republic Wireless, and Nicole Woods was with me 3 startups ago at Matricity. We've added to this team a group of experienced advisors and investors from the worlds of real estate, microfinance, and including Michael Goodman and some other people in Raleigh that you may know or may have heard of. Matricity IPO'd in 2010, and Republic Wireless today is a $100 million division of bandwidth. Enough about us. What are we really up to? The history of housing finance dates back to the early 18th century. Local groups of people got together in order to fund one another's houses. It was social and local and small, and government and financial institutions eventually stepped in to intermediate, disintermediate, and reintermediate. They securitized and they institutionalized, and eventually, through the 1990s, they computerized it, and they did it so well that nobody really understood the way that housing finance actually worked. And in fact, as we now know, it didn't. In 2008, Wall Street and Washington's house of cards came crashing down. We're still feeling the effects. Groundfloor has a different vision. We leverage that same computerization and the emerging power of the social graph and a millennial mindset that doesn't need or want large financial institutions or government in the middle of what they're doing with their money. Groundfloor represents nothing less than the opportunity to reformat housing finance. Let's take a look at 2 customers who are doing that right now today in Atlanta. This is Michael Patzer. He's a 27-year-old software engineer who has invested $7,000 in Groundfloor loans during our pilot. Michael invests on Lending Club, and he knows that Groundfloor is a way to get the same high yields that non-accredited investors don't get, but he gets it in a way that's asset-backed. It's a loan that's backed by the asset of real property. We've acquired 2,000 investors, individual investors, just like Michael on Facebook, at an average customer acquisition cost of $20. Michael's invested in 3 loans from developer John Mangum. John has 30 years of experience, has already repaid 2 of those loans. John works in neighborhoods like Capitol View and Adair Park that don't have the benefit of bank finance behind them. The types of project John does and the dozen borrowers that we brought on like John, these guys they're bankable, but the bank doesn't lend to them. Instead, they're turning to Groundfloor because it's a faster alternative than banks, but it's a cheaper alternative than equity and hard money lending. So this is what Lending Club for real estate looks like. Microloans of 6 to 12-month terms, rates paying 6 to 26%. Try getting that at the bank on a CD. At a $100 minimum entry point that's soon going to drop, and it's backed by a lien. Here's how we do it. Because we offer securities to everybody, and we're the only platform that is 100% accessible to all, the first pillar is one of securities law. It's a creature of regulation. It's highly scalable at very low marginal cost, and next year it will be available not only in Georgia, but nationwide. The second pillar is our underwriting engine. This is the key to scaling to thousands of loans per year. It's asset-backed, asset-based, fast, and low cost. Thousands of loans per year, you bet. How do you do thousands of loans per year? You address 2 enormous multi-$100 billion markets. that are themselves adjacent to trillion-dollar markets. Our model does 8,000 loans a year for $2.7 billion at scale, and the way we get there is by replicating that underwriting engine to each of 150 metros, doing 4 to 8 loans per month at an average loan size of $150,000 to $300,000. We take 3 to 4% of every loan we do in fees, and when at scale, we see our way to making this a $100 million business, just like Lending Club, that's going to IPO this year in a blockbuster. So in summary, this is an experienced team that's addressing an enormous market with a very strong and unique position and a tangible execution path. We are raising in the next 6 months a Series A between $2 and $5 million and are seeking the right lead investor to join our team and help reformat housing finance. We look forward to meeting with you, talking with you about this opportunity, telling you the details. Groundfloor. The banks won't like it, but you will.